This is a real life example of someone who's quit social media for 5 years. I'm going to be showing you this, but first, let's see this.
Over the past 5 years, social media has gone through one of the most dramatic transformations since it began. The platforms that once promised connection, community, and a voice for everyone have devolved into something much more harmful. Viral stunts, immature pranks, choreographed dances, also heightened levels of anxiety, depression, and the disruption of the very fabric of society. I want to explore why social media has gotten so much worse recently, and the quiet but growing rebellion against it that has the very architects of the system on edge. This video is sponsored by Headspace. More about them later. So I think we can learn a lot about the problems with social media today by looking at how Instagram promotes its own app. If you go to the login page, it says, sign up to see photos and videos from your friends. What a load of shit. Anyone that uses Instagram knows this just isn't true, and is far from the content machine it's become. But it does give us a clue into the challenges this company and every social media platform is facing today, and why the distance is growing between what people want and what they're getting. Jack Conte, the co-founder and CEO of Patreon, has spent years thinking about the economics of the internet and has seen from the front lines just how drastically social media has changed since it was first introduced. Jack, thank you so much for being here. Question number one, what the happened to Instagram?
Oh man, I love that question. Okay. Here's what happened.
Money got involved. It became about ads. It became about getting you to stay long on the app so then you can get promoted to, you know? Yo, there's that handbag I so happenly to be thinking about. No, there's a bunch of cookies, you've been tracked, and they're just trying to basically promote stuff so that there could be money, revenue at the back end. That's what, it's no longer about friends and family, just about pretty much keeping you on the app for longer to be able to market you.
Web 2 sort of emerged in like 2005. Web 2 companies were like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The amazing thing about Web 2 was you could like subscribe to a creator. You could follow them, and then you would see the rest of their work as it came to you in the future. This was a new thing. Before Web 2, the internet was mostly read-only. Like you log in via AOL or something, and you like can just like read the news. But the amazing thing about Web 2 was, for the first time, like people could upload, they could share, they could like broadcast their ideas. And the most profound piece of internet architecture came out of that time, was this thing called the follow.
As Jack explained it, the follow gave you the power. You decided who you liked, who you wanted to hear from, and who you wanted to fill your feed. It felt like your corner of the internet, a personalized space built around real connections and genuine interests.
I only subscribe to people and watch videos that make me happy, inspire me, make me feel positive, uplift me.
But that version of social media didn't last. The idealistic vision was great for users, but not for investors.
You know why though? Because they realize people don't actually know what they want. They realize we have more success by serving you what you think you want and then tailoring it to actually find out what you want. We learned this sales tactic when I was selling kitchens. Okay, people don't normally know what they want until you present them what they don't want. Then they start tailoring. No, I actually don't want that. I want this to change, and then you come up to a conclusion. They realize the exact same thing. Let me know if you agree in the comment section down below that the people you're subscribing to, we're not in control of what they post, because they might post different videos that you didn't quite subscribe for. Therefore, we end up losing a user to Facebook, to Instagram back then when they didn't purchase Instagram and all of that stuff for several billions of dollars. But we're much more successful when we actually tell you what you want. Predictive almost in nature.
Once these platforms went public, they faced a new challenge. How do you turn connection into profit? We all know what happened next. Social platforms started to run ads, and ads made them a lot of money. So they scaled the model. Grow larger, show more ads. Get more users, show more ads. Hold users' attention for longer, show more ads. Get more data on who your customer is, their hopes, fears, and dreams. Sell more expensive ads.
The customer of Facebook is the advertiser. What the advertiser wants from consumers is attention. And what Facebook has built is a machine that converts attention into revenue. That is the Facebook machine. Everything about the financial system is set up to hold Facebook accountable for revenue growth. What that does is it aims the entire financial system, hundreds of years of financial infrastructure. It aims that entire system of accountability and discipline at sucking attention away from humanity. That's the problem. That is the problem.
You say these things like they are my fault, and yet they are not.
Well, you did create a platform with a monetary incentive for people to spread misinformation.
Bo Burnham recently summed it up well. Tech companies aren't satisfied with just a piece of your time. They want it all.
They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. That's what's happening.
When the biggest tech companies in the world are competing for your attention, they'll design features that exploit every human vulnerability they can find. Even the smallest change can have a really big impact, like infinite scroll. No, not a never-ending pastry, something much more nefarious. Before this feature existed, websites had pages, natural breaks that let you decide whether to keep going or to stop. In 2006, interface designer Asa Raskin came up with an idea to replace those breaks with a never-ending feed. What seemed like a small improvement quickly became one of the most influential changes in how we use the internet today. Without a stopping point and an endless stream of content, this simple feature can quietly steal hundreds of hours from your life every year. Asa himself says he regrets creating it.
I was blind to how it was going to get picked up and used not for people, but against people. And this was actually a huge lesson for me, that me sitting here optimizing an interface for one individual is sort of like, that was morally good. But being blind to how it was going to be used.
Let's be honest. Being blind, do you buy it? Let me know in the comment section down below if you buy that. But I mean, these people, they think ahead of time. And I feel like it could be the guilt. That's, I was blind. I didn't know. I just wanted the best for come on. You're designing something to steal other people's time. Let's just be real about it.
Me sitting here optimizing an interface for one individual is sort of like, that was morally good. But being blind to how it was going to be used globally was sort of globally amoral at best, or maybe even a little immoral.
In a world where apps rise and fall overnight, the social media giants have learned to move fast or risk becoming the next MySpace. When a feature works on one platform, it doesn't stay there for long. It's copied, repackaged, and rolled out everywhere. We've seen this happen with pretty much every fast-growing app, from Snapchat to BeReal, and of course,
TikTok.
TikTok explodes in popularity.
It's surging in popularity here in the U.S.
15-year-old Charlie D'Amelio's new favorite pastime is making up dance moves for the social media app TikTok.
This group of 20 talented content creators is part of a growing trend of young social media stars snapping up big real estate so they can physically be together to make videos 24/7.
We're definitely like the two most hated. Definitely
the most cringiest.
Like, they're literally called Blueberry because their hair is blue.
Yeah.
And then I'm orange, so like, oh my god, the orange and the blueberry.
What has happened over the last 5 years is really profound. TikTok came onto the scene, and TikTok's major innovation, I think people think, oh, TikTok is vertical first short form video. But that's not TikTok's major innovation. I think that's a red herring. What TikTok did that was truly different and innovative was TikTok said, oh, these concepts of feeds that people are using, where you have your followers and you scroll through a feed and you see people you follow. TikTok said, forget about following. We're going to rebuild your feed from scratch based on who we think you're going to like. Not who you've chosen to follow, but what the platform thinks you will spend time on, and we're going to optimize it for time spent.
While TikTok didn't invent the algorithmic feed, they did crack the code on virality. For years, your feed was shaped by who you chose to follow. TikTok removed that control entirely, replacing it with a feed that didn't care about your social graph. Instead, every scroll was another data point, teaching the algorithm exactly what you would keep watching.
The most successful video I have right now is like at 68 million views right now.
I'm sorry, 68 million views?
Yeah. It's just me like turning into like a monster.
Now, if it had just been TikTok that did that, we all would have just left TikTok and that would have been the end of the story. But the thing is, it worked. And by it worked, I mean TikTok built a very addictive consumer experience that people couldn't tear themselves out of. And so traffic sort of siphoned off of Instagram and Facebook and all the other social apps and onto TikTok. And all the other social apps saw this, and felt pressure to get traffic back. And the way that they did that was by also ditching the follow in their systems and by building For You feeds.
TikTok might say that its For You feed democratized the internet. Suddenly, anyone could reach millions, regardless of their follower count. And simultaneously, viewers could discover creators they'd never heard of. On the surface, it looks like a win-win. But in reality, this change had far worse consequences. In Johan Hari's best-selling book, Stolen Focus, he documents exactly what went wrong when these platforms rolled out these kinds of feeds.
The algorithm is neutral about the question of whether it wants you to be calm or angry. That's not its concern. It only cares about one thing. Will you keep scrolling? Unfortunately, there's a quirk of human behavior. On average, we will stare at something negative and outrageous for a lot longer than we will stare at something positive and calm.
Go like this.
No, Mama, she's usually crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video.
Social media has turned into a model that serves the platforms more than the creators or the audience. And as a result, people are starting to turn against it, and they don't have any plans to come back.
Now, this is where we enter in with this lady. She's been off of well, not just Instagram, social media as a whole for 5 years. This is her update.
5 years off social media. I need you to do it. I need you to do it. My last video I made in 2020 when I deleted my Instagram, my Twitter, and I had already not had a Facebook. And I don't regret it at all. Not a day goes by that I want to be back in the mindset that I was in when I had social media. And it's been 5 years. And what's so funny, when I had my Instagram, I would post on there, I can't wait to go become a counselor. I can't wait to go and do all these things. Guess what? Now I'm doing it. I'm actually going to do the thing that I said that I was going to do because I'm using my time to do the things that I want to do instead of wondering what it's going to look like to other people. Your time is so precious. Your time is so precious. And I like I said in my past video, I understand if you have to do it for business reasons. I hope you find another way, but if you have to, I get it. I was posting for my partner who posts for his performances that he does. And so every once in a while, I'll download Instagram to post the photos that we take, and then I'll delete it again on his account. And I decided, let me check out the reels. What are people seeing these days? That is whack. Whack. Everything is so sexualized, and everything is so weird, and everything is so like, and he's not really on there, so I'm getting like a basic view of what people are getting on their feed, and yours is probably tailored and probably different maybe, but like baseline, it's strange. It's not natural. It's not normal. It, like, the amount of things that I saw that were so provocative in nature or drama or fighting, I was like, oh my god, this is the energy everybody's getting. No wonder we are where we're at. And I recently rewatched The Social Network, and I was like, Facebook started off a scam? Zuckerberg is a scammer. He's a scammer who scams his friends and scams other people and lives on this beautiful island where he grows his own food and lives the life that we all should be living, but instead he wants us to live in like a meta universe. Wake up. Wake up. You got to get off. In my perfect world, we get off Facebook. We get off Instagram. We get off Twitter. And guess who loses power? These people in power. Puppeteers.
Puppet masters.
They lose it. They need us to be addicted to these things. They need us to be logged on to these things. They need it to make money. They need it to make influence. Imagine if we got off and started engaging with actual community around us. Engaging with the people around us. Making friends. Building community again. I'm sitting in front of a church. Finding spirituality again. Whatever that looks like for you. We could do that. And not only would they lose their power, but you will regain your power. You will regain your power in your life. You will reclaim your time. I said in my original video, what if you get to the end of your life and you realize that you spent 40, 50, 60% 90% of it on the line. And I know YouTube are saying this, but I just make this real quick and post and go. I've been thinking about YouTube lately. I'm like, man, the stuff that they're feeding me on here is nasty. Like the food that we're being fed. That's a different story.
So wait, I'm quite confused a tiny bit. Is she off of everything? Because I believe this is her YouTube channel, right? So I'm now forced to believe she just creates and then just vanishes. She doesn't consume. So then it raises the argument, become a creator, not a consumer. But I guess the content you're creating is for other people to consume. So is it now you becoming a drug dealer rather than, you know, the drug addict? But I don't know. I'll let you choose. I'll let you decide what you think, what are your thoughts in regards to this. But she's been off for 5 years, and obviously the comments, let's see the comments. I'm not wearing my reading glasses, but I'll try to read it here. After you get off social media, it becomes clear to you how upset it really is. That's very true. You guys and girls in the comment section are all amazing. Is that her? Okay, no, this is not her. That's somebody else. Let's read this one. The best thing about social media is being... Okay, it's quite long. All right. The best thing about not being on social media is that the fact that you stop comparing yourself to others. The obsession people have with others is wild. Very true. And in fact, you're comparing yourself to a false person, because the person that they're displaying is not actually who they are. It's the best version of themselves being distributed to you. If you actually saw who they were, zero comparison, man. I quit social media 5 years ago too. Best thing I ever did. I now read up to 167 books per year. To be honest with you, I don't consume social media. I create, but I don't consume. Very quickly, 4 years ago, my bad. About a decade ago, I realized that I'm going to be more successful if I create than if I consume. So I've been living that way since, really and truly. So my social media time is very, very down. But yeah.
So for me, when it comes to incorporating technology into my life, it's not about getting off the grid and living in a cave. It's about finding balance. I want technology to add value to my life, to help me find purpose, meaning, get clarity, and help quiet those late night thoughts about the rise of fascism, the collapse of the global economy, and the possibility that this country might be run by lizard people. That's where my sponsor, Headspace, comes in.
Okay,
it's the everyday, really easy to romanticize the past. Social media was never this perfect beacon of civilization. Early on, it gave us internet stalking, endless cringe, and yeah, a couple beheading videos. But it's gotten objectively worse. Even as we see an explosion of creativity with independent creators producing thoughtful, hilarious, and inspiring work, these voices are often getting drowned out by professional grifters, fast-moving trends, high-production clickbait, and AI-generated content, most of which are surfacing above the people that we chose to follow in the first place. What was once pitched as a town square now feels more like reality TV on crack. Meta itself admitted during the FTC trial recently that just 7% of time spent on Instagram in 2025 is spent viewing content from friends.
I think social media has become less social. Like, it's more about just consuming this kind of highly commodified content. And it's more about lifestyle aspiration, things that you are moving toward in your own life, not just like what's going on around you and how are you relating to your friends and family. I mean, to me, that kind of removes the purpose of social media.
This trend of pushing viral content over personal connections has led to more profit in the short term, but there's a huge problem. Even though the usage numbers are still high, public sentiment is turning against TikTok and Instagram. People are starting to hate it.
I've been in a few dark places in my life, and a lot of it was influenced by social comparison of social media.
I was getting to the point with social media where I felt completely detached from reality.
I was more irritated with my daughter. I was comparing my marriage to other people's marriage. I felt more insecure about my face, my hair, my body.
According to a recent poll, 2/3 of 16 to 24-year-olds think social media does more harm than good. Plus, half think that they spent too much time on it when they were younger. As journalist Gabby Hinsliff wrote, "This isn't how someone talks about something they love, but how you look back on a relationship that was in retrospect making you miserable."
I had a young girl, okay, that mentioned to me they had TikTok burnt on their phone. So meaning when the screen wasn't on, you could actually look carefully. Not this one, it was a Samsung. Okay, I've got iPhone here, but you could actually look carefully and see the icons like heart, comments, share, you know, on down the side of TikTok. You could see it burnt onto the screen because they've used it that much. And I denied it, no way, until I got her to show me her Samsung. And lo and behold, the phone was off. She turned the phone completely off to prove it to me. And I could balance it like this, and I could see the icons where the imprints burned onto the screen of the phone. Like, I've never ever seen anything like that. If you Google it, you'll probably see exactly what I'm talking about. Never seen anything like that existing. But yeah, that's how bad people are.
Better us over the long term. That
Look
don't
at these videos.
enable and help
Nonsense
our brains
videos.
and psyches and make us feel
Junk.
good and strong and better. We'll pay attention to all
Just
kinds
garbage.
of shit that is not good for us. I know
Like-
what the fuck is going on. I work at Patreon. I work at a tech company. I've seen these systems from the inside. I personally had to set a time limit on Instagram on my phone to stop myself from going. I had to set a 10-minute time limit. And I do that now. And I don't give myself more than 10 minutes. Like, I had to draw a hard line because these systems are so powerful.
I remember when I did my first social media detox back in 2018, I quit all the apps for 30 days. At the time, this was still considered pretty new, if not socially unacceptable. You really felt like you were going to miss out on what your friends were up to. It's different now. Now you're only missing out on some viral trends and a quick hit of dopamine. Digital detoxes and social media cleanses aren't fringe anymore. They're everywhere. Minimalist phones and dumb apps are getting more and more popular. Concerts and venues are asking people to put their phones in bags or cover their cameras with stickers to encourage people to be more present.
Put your phones away.
In real life, organizations and groups like the Offline Club are popping up everywhere, encouraging people to ditch their phones and meet in person. And
That's
a lot more
amazing.
people, myself included, are going one step further and deleting these apps outright.
I want to get my life back, and I feel like the only way to do this is to break up with the internet.
I've decided.
And hold on, I feel like the next step is Web3 and immersiveness, because now they're going to force you to not be able to get, you know, just because with your phone, you could just turn it off and just say, okay, I'm going on the detox. But if we immerse and mix and blur the line between reality and technology, because it's all simultaneously into it, then you get people just trapped unwillingly. Mark Zuckerberg mentioned very soon you'll be able to go in a room and the room is just holograms. Meaning you could be the only one who's real in that room and everyone else are just a hologram. They could attend a meeting from home. From the USA, they're attending a meeting in the UK. Sat in the boardroom, a bunch of holograms with maybe 3 real people because they couldn't fly over. And you see what I mean? So the more they blur that line between reality and technology and force people to enter it, the metaverse, then you won't be able to escape. Detox. It's not going to work anymore. I feel like that's where we're going with this. Look, on this channel, we try to achieve success, finance, wealth, and all of that. But these things are important. These topics are important because you're going to be living in a world, whether you like it or not, the world moves with or without you. And you need to be able to adapt and say, this is not for me, this is for me. I am a creator, I'm not a consumer. These are things that is going to help you obtain your wealth and obtain your success. But I want to hear from you anyways. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Whilst you're there, please like the YouTube video for the YouTube algorithm. And you, my friend, I'll catch you on the next one. God bless.